I missed all of the.
Well, welcome everybody to Power Hour. It is October 2023, and that means this is the 3-year anniversary of Meggan and I doing Power Hour. Yay! So I thought it would be most appropriate to get a little birthday cake. It's too bad she is across the continent and can't share any, but so I'm going to blow it out for us. 3 years. Who imagined that we would get here? Started out as a joke. I thought we could do it better than Creative Memories at the time. And I think given by the amount of people that show up every month continually, we're still doing a pretty good job. So thank you for that. Have some of that while Meggan's teaching her layout.
What kind of cake is it? What kind of cake is it?
It's confetti cake. It's actually not the flavor I ever would have picked out, but I thought it was the prettiest one to show on camera. A lot of our stuff originally, when Meggan was doing like the memes and stuff, was rainbow. So I got the one with the little rainbow sprinkles that has a little chocolate drizzle. I'm not confetti cake. When I was looking at the cakes, I was like, I'd rather have the pumpkin roll or this, but they're not as like birthday festive looking. So
you could have put 3 candles on a pumpkin roll and I totally would have been all over that.
I actually didn't do that because I would have eaten so much of it by myself. And this way I'll just have a little piece and let the kids finish it. So yeah, we are excited to have you join us tonight. We actually have a little bit of fun and games planned too. Meggan loves it when I pop surprises on her. I gave her about a 30-minute notice. So we want to first do a poll if it's ready. I think, will it work?
I think so. Yeah, here it is. Just a second.
So we're going to do a little poll and see how long those of you that are showing up have been following us. So some of you may be brand new in less than, just a few months, a year. Maybe you found us about a year ago, 2 years. And I know some of you have been following us since the beginning. So all 3 years. So we're curious to know kind of how it splits. And unfortunately, if you're watching the recording, we know we have a lot of loyal followers on the recordings also that can't always join us live. Way back when we started, we used to do 2 times, 7 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern. So it got pretty late for some, earlier for the other. But now we just do it 1 time. So it looks like it is pretty evenly split, actually. Hopefully we don't chase off the new people. A quarter of you have been here less than a year. We don't have a party every month. So we really will get to scrapbooking shortly. And some of you have been with us all 3 years. So thank you for that. Should do a screenshot, except we can't. Or I could do a screen.
Yeah, let me capture one real quick.
Yeah, dude. Our phones are up on the thing. So thank you to all of us who have followed us this whole time. So we're going to do a little bit of fun and games. So we're going to start with, how many of you ever played 2 Truths and a Lie? Are you familiar with that? So you read off a couple of things that are true, something that's a lie, and then you have to guess which one is true or a lie. So I'm going to do mine first. So I'm going to do 3 about myself, and then I'm going to do 3 about Meggan. And before she does her layout, she will do 3 about herself and 3 about me. So these are so for those of you following, so here's my 3. So 2 of these are true and 1 is a lie. My favorite color is green. I've been to 12 national parks in the last 3 years. And I spend hours at my kids' sporting events watching lacrosse and basketball. So Meggan obviously knows which one of those is not true. So which one is not true? Green is my favorite color. I've been to 12 national parks in the last 3 years. I spend hours watching my kids' lacrosse and basketball games. Oh, I'm still it's funny to watch a chat. I obviously don't talk about it well enough. Green is for sure my favorite color. That's like, I thought would be the easiest one. There are a lot of people are saying the color. Some people are saying the parks. And those of you that know me the best, no, I do not go to any lacrosse games. That's Meggan. I spend hours at the soccer field. So soccer and basketball where I spend my time. But those of you that were following us when the sports thing came out, I've heard me complain so many times about the lack of soccer. So good job. We know you're a true follower if you figured that one out. Okay, so here are 3 things about Meggan, except I actually need to flip it a little bit. I'm going to share these results so they can come off the screen.
Oh, I shared them. Did they not? I don't know
Well,
how the.
I don't know. I'm going to exit out. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the green bag gives it away. I do have the green in here, and I have green walls. You can't see anymore because of my cubes. I have green all over this house. Okay, so the things about Meggan. So 2 of these are actually lies. One of them is true. So you have to figure out which one is true about her. So Meggan is a meticulous housekeeper. She's very OCD about making sure everything is in its place. Like you go to visit, you got to make sure like shoes off at the door, don't touch anything. For her downtime, she loves to relax. She loves to put in a good movie and get pedicures. So she loves to relax with pedicures and movies. And when she comes to Indiana to visit me, we always have to go to Chili's to eat. So which one of those is not true about Meggan? She's a meticulous housekeeper. She loves movies and pedicures to relax, or she loves to eat at Chili's when she's in Indiana. It's kind of all over the board.
I am enjoying the results here. I definitely am enjoying these. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, those of you that listen know that the truth in that is Chili's. When she comes to Indiana, we always have to go to Chili's. Her house is a mess, and those of you that think it looks clean on cameras because she has pushed everything.
It's all about angles.
It's all about angles. She hates videos, hates movies, and will not go get a pedicure. So that is the lies and the truth about me and Meggan. So we will do episode number 2 before her layout. So maybe we should probably get to the scrapbooking part. That's why you all joined us. I wish we could just pour you all a drink, give you a piece of cake. We could probably chat all night. But do you see my phone disappear? Okay, there we go. So scrapbooking, that's why we're all here. So tonight for my layout, I did a little bit. So over the weekend, I lived a little bit in my fantasy world, and I actually was going to look at new washers. I do have a new washer coming on Thursday, but whenever I go to the home improvement store, I have to walk through the tile aisles because I can't wait to redo my kitchen. But I was talking to my neighbor. She was the one with me, and we were looking at the subway tiles, which is very popular. And I thought, it would be fun to do kind of a subway tile-esque layout. And so this layout is pretty simple, really, but it is a great way to pull together maybe scraps or your prints. You can use, I use 3 different prints on this one. With front and back, you can get 6 if you like them all, or you can narrow that down and use just a few. So this layout is, I did not actually glue the things down I showed you in the demo layout, but there is room, you can decorate and embellish with your mats. But underneath all of that, we're going to do a little bit of a subway grid tile underneath as the base. So we're going to cut 2x4 rectangles. And you can also decide before you lay them out if you want to maintain the vertical orientation, or you can rotate it and keep it more like a brick pattern of horizontally. So this layout I did as the demo is Golden Harvest, which is still available from Creative Memories. I think this is a great layout for fall. It's part of why I decided to do it. I almost used Hello Autumn, but I pulled out Golden Harvest because it's still available. We also had Autumn Harvest. Some of that started to sell out, but if you don't have Golden Harvest, it is a really pretty set. And when you get some of those pretty sets and the papers are so pretty, it's fun to do this kind of layout because you can pull so many of the patterns and the colors together. I am not organized well enough in my life to have photos for that one yet. So, but I do have photos for tonight. Those of you that have watched the last few classes we've done know I've been working through some photos when Meggan and I were in Minneapolis, and we were doing kind of a downtown walk through the park. And I have some more photos of that. And so the collections I've been using have been time-worn textures, this in the stone paper pack, a little bit of memoir. So I'm not quite confident actually of how my papers are going to pull together. So I might cut these out and change my mind about the base papers. But I think I'm going to see how it looks with this brick base. And there's a lot of brick in the structures down around the river. And then I pulled out these from the Time Worn, which are just some neutral textures. These pages I've been doing are really all about texture. So we're going to see how those pull together. So you really only need your 12-inch trimmer, and or you can pull out your scraps, and we're going to do 2x4 strips. So we need at least 4 or pieces thereof, and it's okay if you have a few extra. We're going to cut each 2x12 section into 3. So you're going to get 4-inch sections. And then as we piece it together, we might cut down some of them a little smaller to stack, off-centered stack it across the page as we adhere them. So 2x12 to start, and then we're going to rotate all of those and cut them down to 4-inch sections. I only chose 2 papers, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 each and kind of see if I get far with that. None of mine are directional, but if you do have a direction that you want to maintain in your design, just make sure you cut it. You need to know which direction you want your layout to face first. If you're going to keep it horizontal, if you're going to keep them vertical. I really want to redo my kitchen. That is like big on my wish list. I've been working through my wish list. I got a new car last week, which has been long overdue. I'm very excited about that. It's not a new car, but it's new to me. It's a 2015 Pathfinder I found actually with pretty low miles. And then I have my washer coming. My washer decided it wanted to stop spinning out the loads. So it's been not very fun. We've been wringing out our clothes by hand half the time. And eventually I would like to get to my kitchen, but we'll see about that. So I have my 2 base papers here. I'm going to need more than this to do 2 pages. I'm going to start with 1 and kind of see how it looks before I commit to more. Like I said, I'm not totally sure how this is going to work with I'll have 4 choices of patterns. They're all, like I said, very similar. It's more about texture. As you can see, when I started the Golden Harvest one, I started with full sections. And these I'm going to space a little bit apart, so it'll hang off a little bit off the edge. And I will just give that a trim when it's time. And I did start here about 1/8 of an inch. But first, before I ever get to that point, I'm just going to like lay them out. I think this is the hardest part of the thought process, is just what you want sitting next to each other. Kind of get a variety. I started going down the trail. I know I wanted to use this print. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it kind of looks like flour in the pictures that will go on this layout, or when we toured the flour mill. When I first told Megan I wanted to go, she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, what if we go to the flour mill? She thought I was literally talking about like real flowers, but it's flour made out of wheat. It was the Pillsbury factory. You can see I'm short a few pieces over here, but as I trim these off, I'm going to have extra pieces to pull over. I think I'm fine with actually how this looks, because the brick is a darker contrast. All of these still have a little bit of definition to the edges. It's going to pull in the textures, which was my goal. So I think I'm going to go ahead and commit, and I'm going to adhere the first couple so I can trim these off and have those pieces to move over. like I said, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. The T ruler, if you pick that up along the way, could be nice for doing this kind of layout to keep your edges straight. I'm just going to work my way down adhering these. So let me tell you the fun thing about buying the washer. So I knew when I needed a new washer that I really wanted something as basic as possible. I didn't want everything fancy. I didn't want to deal with the smart boards. I just wanted like old school, which was pretty hard to find. But I picked out a GE one that was as basic as I could get. And then I had gone to like Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, looking at all of them. And I came home, I decided which one I want, and I was about to buy it online to deliver. And it occurred to me that I rack up quite a bit of credit card points buying my inventory with Creative Memories. And so I had this epiphany, I could go get Home Depot gift cards with my credit card points. So I paid $1.63 for my washer, you guys, $1.63. The rest of it was credit card gift cards. I was so proud of myself for thinking of that.
That is pretty impressive, and I'm gonna have to keep that in mind.
I know. I was like, I should get the matching dryer, except usually I use a lot of those points for like Christmas, gift cards for the kids or whatever. I'm like, and then I think I told Campbell that. She's like, do you have enough points to buy new cabinets? I'm like, I don't know about that. I'd have to figure out how much cabinets would be with Home Depot and how many points that would take.
So you're using a combination of time-worn texture and
So all of these papers are time worn texture. The very bottom, the brick is out of the stone paper pack. So this is a collection it's several years old. I'm sorry to tempt all of you, but it's like it's reasons why you buy everything, because someday you find the perfect pictures for it. And these pictures were perfect for these papers. It was the reason why I had been saving it. I am trying to alternate this gold color. But I'll keep that up there. So you see over here, I started alternating like how deep my first strip went as I adhered off the edge. I'm going to go ahead and just trim this one a little bit short. It doesn't really matter what measures. They're similar, but then I was going through here and I was just hesitant to add in too much. I was I'm gonna have pictures on top of these too. So it was easier with Golden Harvest. Like I said, I was using 3 strips, so I have 6 total prints, and over here I just have 2. I just have to remind myself not to overthink it too much, because like I said, a lot of it's gonna get covered up. It's really about the effect of the textures. Down. I'd adhere them hanging off the edge, and then when I'm ready to, I'm just gonna do straight cuts to free up those extra pieces. If you guys grab the shiplap paper in the promo we just had, that has a lot of textures in there too. cut myself another strip of this one. I had a little bit of a mini breakdown, as I've been calling it I guess it's been a week ago Friday, as I was looking around at all these pieces that never get taken care of my life. I was like, I have to get some of this stuff done. And then the next week is when I bought my car. I'm like, I got to figure out what to do about the washer. I have a tree service coming tomorrow to take care of some tree trimming that needs to happen. I went to Michael's today, so I did a whole rearranging in here. I couldn't post about it when I was doing it that weekend because I didn't want my assistant Angie to see it on Facebook. The sad part was I was at the gym when she got to work on Monday, and so I wasn't here to see her reaction. But when she came in, I rearranged like all the major pieces in here except the cubes. And she is the type to definitely like have reactions, and she was very, very surprised. But I took out a whole folding table I had in here, and I put together an alpha shelf, or not shelf, the drawer things from Container Store. So I freed up space you can't see on camera, but I have room to add a whole nother row of cubes, the column of cubes that you can see behind me. I picked up those from Michael's today, and I went to Container Store and got another one of the alpha carts because they are having a 35% off sale right now. So it's should be done in the spring. Like people have spring cleaning. I'm doing fall.
I need to
Fall
see
organization.
updates. You haven't sent me any photo updates.
I know. I just feel like life's been a little intense, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. We're on fall break this week, but Campbell's had basketball tryouts twice a day. It's taken up a lot of time. I need to do a whole like Facebook Live showing the room now that Angie knows. So when I walked in from the gym that day, she was just like, she's like, it took her a little bit to figure out. She was so confused what happened. Okay, so there is this side. I left probably a little bit wider spacing. It is actually about the same. I was thinking it was a little bit wider, but I think it's because that brick just shows through a little stronger. So I have my 4 rows over here. So I can repeat it all over there. I'd have to cut some more pieces. When it comes to photo layout, I know on this layout, I am going to use peekaboo pockets to get more photos on here. So I know I'll have 2 sets of 4x6, and I will cut mats to mat behind the peekaboo to give these some differentiation against all of these patterns. And then I have cut a couple of photos from inside the museum that we'll put there. And then this side, I will do a very similar concept. My other dilemma, I couldn't decide before I actually got this put together, is what color of cardstock do I want to mat my photos with? I have a lot of neutrals going on. I have this brown. I pulled out a charcoal. I could go with like something dark. It's going to pull out some of that dark tones in the brick. I have like this camel color, which I'm thinking is probably a little bit too brown. The standard beige is always a good option. It's kind of that light. A light color will just give I would do a real thin matte just to give some definition. Or this was an older color called suede. This is also why you buy every cardstock in the cardstock buffets, because you never quite know what shade you might want when. Or I could do that suede color.
What about hot fudge or dark brown?
Yeah, I thought about that. Since I've organized my cardstock, I can pull out every color now. You guys can't see it, unless you're looking at me, but I have all my paper crates next to me now. I have bought so many of these sleeves from Stampin' Storage. I keep all my cardstock in. I still ran out. I bought like 3 packs in the last sale, and I still need more. I knew you probably suggest hot fudge. I don't know how I knew that. I didn't really want to go with the dark brown. I think if I was gonna go dark, I would do charcoal.
I would go dark only because then it will stand out no matter which one of those bricks you put it on, your cut bricks,
Yeah.
but it's going to be up to you whether or not you like the charcoal or the brown, only because you can see those colors better.
I will try charcoal. I don't love, I mean, this is like a camel color. I feel like I use a brown, it accents the yellow more in the layout, and I liked more of the lighter tones. Maybe I'll cut out some charcoal and see how it. I have a couple other grays, like lichen, but I think that's too light. The regular gray.
Somebody suggested the anthracite shimmer.
Anthracite shimmer, that actually might be pretty. I don't have the shimmers in here yet, but when Megan's doing her layout, I will go grab a pack of that. That might actually be a fun little touch. I was thinking black might be too stark. I mean, it's definitely an option depending on the photos have a lot of these colors in them too. They have kind of a lot of the vintage feel. Yeah, albatross. Let me grab that because I literally have all the colors.
So when you
It's a
do
little
your second page, are you just going to do the bricks on that inside edge then so that the bricks will be in the middle? Or
well,
the tile, the subway, the things. Are you going to just mirror it?
yeah, I'll mirror it. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I can decide too, once I make it, I can decide which way to mirror. I was thinking I would keep the brick still on the outside, but I could also have it more like that on the layout. I'll play with it. I will pull out anthracite and kind of see. So I will repeat the whole thing on the other side too. I won't make you guys watch all of that because I would rather hear Megan's truths and a lie too. So that is my layout. Obviously, it's pretty easy. I don't think you guys had too many questions overall. The dilemma in this layout for sure is choosing your paper and then laying out kind of your pattern in it. So, and that is probably best done when there aren't over 200 people watching and talking to you. So, okay. So let's go to Megan. I can't wait to hear what she came up with since I gave her so much notice to figure this out.
She did. I thought I was going to sit down and have about 30 minutes to pick out some final details for my layout so I could put it together all and have all some of those details known. And she's like, hey, let's play a game. And so that's probably the truth in there is Megan likes to have things last minute sprung on her. And that would be a lie. So for my two truths, and this is going to be two truths and a lie. This is about me. So let's see here. I've got a little list of some of my favorite things. So I love coffee. I love the Diamondbacks, and I love to bake. So you have to tell me which one of those is not true. I love coffee. I love the Diamondbacks, and I love to bake.
So easy. It's so easy, everyone.
Oh, it's really fun. I obviously don't talk enough about it. Oh,
I think well, some people, if people watch you, especially in your lives, know that you love the Diamondbacks. So
oh, for sure. I love the
that's a pretty
Diamondbacks.
easy one to take. Most people think it's baking, which is amusing, probably because why would you bake if you don't like to tidy up your house,
See,
right?
Christy's over here. She's like, I thought you drank tea. I do. I drink tea. The coffee is the lie. The coffee is the lie. I love to bake. The problem is I also love to eat. So I have to really monitor how much I bake, so that I don't eat it because I will. It's really funny. When I stopped eating the sweets, like I tried to like not eat as many sweets. I would still bake, and then those things would sit there forever, and it would really like drove home how much of the eating I was doing as compared to the rest of my family. Like, why do we still have cookies? 4 days later, and I'm like, oh, because I hadn't been eating them. So Yes, somebody commented the Diamondbacks are currently playing. My husband's out there watching them. So I watched last night and they lost, right? So it's all about superstition. Baseball fans are big. Oh, they're down by one. Okay, well that's okay. We'll survive. Okay, no more comments about the D-backs. I don't need to know. You're gonna just distract me. So the other one that I have to do, and then here it is. It's about Tessa, and I lost my thing because then she's like, you have to come up with stuff about her. So this, we are gonna do 2 lies and 1 truth. All right. So, one of these items is true. So Tessa drank like a fish in Mexico. And when I mean drink, I mean the like adult beverages. Drank like a fish in Mexico. She loves baseball games. And she does not like the personal trimmer. So one of those is a truth. And you have to tell me which one of those items is true. That she drank like a fish in Mexico. She loves baseball games. And she does not like the personal trimmer. So one of those is true. Oh, you guys are the good though. Look at those.
Mine, the baseball game. I just don't have anyone that's ever played it. I did like getting the nachos and the hat when we went. I like to sit there. I'm good at sitting.
But I use the word love. Love.
That's true. I don't love it. I would rather go to basketball game. I would probably rather go to a professional soccer game and definitely football over baseball. So that's true.
It's an
We
acquired,
did,
it's an acquired thing. It works great for my attention span.
yeah. And then I mean, I did drink in Mexico. I don't drink like a fish. I can't handle
The
that
the
because like
the beverages in Mexico were not very stout. We're not very
the
high
problem is
alcohol
always to get
content.
tired, or else I know I won't sleep very well. I don't like to drink very much actually because it keeps me up all night,
Yeah.
and then that's
We're
kind
getting
of
old. We're
yeah,
getting
and
old.
it's true. I
That's the
hate the
truth of the
personal
matter there.
trimmer. So it would have been more true if she said hate. She said I do not like. I don't just not like. I just don't like it. I strongly dislike the personal trimmer, and that's why I still use my old one more. I'm still waiting for them to revamp it. They had to take that back through the engineering process. So I don't think we'll see the new personal trimmer for a while, but I'm
It'll be a
hopeful
little
when it
while.
does come out, I will love it. And then I can be back on the game. So,
All right. I have a layout too. I guess we
okay,
should get to it.
we should
I don't
start.
have a cake. Sorry. Forgot to do that part. All right. So for my layout, um, I showed you it was kind of the single page because you could totally do this as a single page layout, or you could do it as a 2-page layout. I made one of my pages look pretty with some placeholder mats on it, but you can get the idea. We're going for just a very basic background that you'll be able to add photos however you want. So that's really the goal of this is just putting the background together and then you can mix and match. One of the things I was thinking about that actually works really well for this layout, I know some of you are creating you create 2 layouts, maybe they're the same for if you have 2 kids, you have grandkids, you're doing one layout for one thing and you need a duplicate of that layout. This is a great one that you'll be able to create either a 2-page layout or have 2 single-page layouts that you can create. So for this layout, as my direction says, we need 2 sheets of designer paper. Ideally, they are going to be non-directional. So for my example or my demo tonight, I am speaking of baseball and speaking of Minnesota. I am doing the pictures of Tessa and I going to a baseball game. We went to the Twins game that they played. I think they played the Yankees. And so that was a fun game. We didn't stay through the whole thing because I think the Twins, I think, were beating them up, and then the Yankees tried to come back and like I said, my attention span sometimes dwindles, and I'm not a Yankee. Neither one of those are my team. So if I want to really watch a baseball game and stay for the entire time, it's got to be my team. So it's got to be a D-backs game, and maybe the Mariners. So I'm going to be using some of the paper I have 2 sheets here out of the Totally Tonals blue paper pack. So this is the Totally Tonals, the blue that's a little bit darker. They had a baby blue. This is the blue. And I have picked these papers. The opposite side to them is more of a white based print. We're going to see how that works. Ideally, you would be using all four sides of your papers. I generally, we'll see how the white works in there. I will be using as my base page, rather than just getting some scrap white paper. I think on my original sample, I actually just used the back of one of the cover sheets. Even though they're a little bit more lighter weight, they work great if you're needing to do a base page. If you're going to use a top slide in, top loading page, that works perfect. It doesn't add too much weight. So don't dismiss those pieces of paper as just something to build your layout on. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sneak in some navy. The reason is if I am putting this together and for some reason I am not digging how the lighter colors are mixing in, I can always leave out one of these and that navy will show through. So if I think that I want to, maybe not quite use as much of the lighter white base pattern, I can leave it out. So I've got my 2 sheets of designer paper. I have 2 base pages. The navy, I'm going to use that for navy for that. It also works. The twins colors are a little bit more navy and red rather than blue and red. So using that navy in there gives me that option to bring in that darker color if I want for the twins. Since they're not like my team, I'm not so worried about honoring their colors, aside from fact just keeping it mostly blue. And then I am going to bring in some cranberry cardstock for my mats. All right. So that is today's goal, is to mostly blue. We're going to bring in that pop of red. What'll be nice is that I do in the photos where the green of the field is on there, that will pop out. I do have some photos of there was a bunch of creative memories. One of the advisors arranged for some group tickets for us. So we got ourselves onto the big screen at the Target field. So that was kind of fun. All right. So to get started, one of the things I want to talk about, if you have your 13 by 13 mat, hopefully you do, because this is going to make doing this really easy. The one thing I want to point out is where our 0 and 12-inch lines are on your cutting mat. So right now I have the creative memories up here at the upper left, where I can read I can read creative memories. It's not upside down. It's not turned to the side. When my mat is turned this way, 0 is up here in the upper right-hand corner. 12 inches is in the upper left. I can see 1, 2, 3, so forth. I can count down to 12. So my 12s are in my opposite corner. My 0s are up here. The way that we're going to do this is we actually want to be able to measure from the upper left. So I'm actually going to rotate my cutting mat so that 0 is now over on this side. I want 0 to be in my upper left. What's that mean? It means that my Creative Memories logo is down here on its side in the lower left. So if you happen to join me for Scrapbook Live last week, this is kind of a layout that uses a lot of that same technique, that same initial cut, where we're going to cut off a corner, and then we just do a few more cuts to give ourselves that patchwork background. So here, one thing I want to point out, what we're going to do when we cut these papers, whatever side is pointed up, those pieces are going to pair together. So when I cut this button paper, which is the opposite side of this brown paper, the button and the brown are the same paper. The teal and the sunshine are the same paper. So my button and my teal get partnered together when I cut. So if I want my medium blue and my dark blue to pair together, I need to make sure these are the patterns that are up when I cut them. If I wanted to pair the dark blue here with the white of this one, I would want to make sure I cut with the white up and the blue up. So that's really just something I wanted to point out when you're cutting these. However you want to pair your big chunky pieces together, you're going to want to make sure those pieces are up. All right. or those patterns are facing up when you're cutting. You will want to use, if you can, non-directional patterns to your paper. Non-directional meaning it doesn't matter which way is up. Both of my picks can go either direction. So it doesn't matter there. I'm going to go ahead and choose this medium tone first. And we're going to, according to my directions, which I have buried. Step one, we're going to make pencil marks 8.5 inches in both directions from the upper left corner. So that is the upper left corner here. We're going to come over 8.5. Make sure your paper is on your cutting mat square. And I'm going to make a pencil mark at 8.5 inches. Just going to show you guys. So 8.5 inches. And then I'm going to come down here on the left side, 8.5 inches. 8.5 is kind of an arbitrary number. You could have chose 8 inches. You could choose 7 inches. Anything above 8.5 inches is going to be hard to cut with your 12-inch trimmer. Anything smaller should not be a problem. The biggest thing here is you just want to make sure whatever side, whatever measurement you use on one side, it's the same measurement on the others, and double check that. You want to make sure you're cutting off the triangle is, you know, I'm sure there's a term I cannot remember from geometry. It's not an equilateral, but you know what I mean. You want to make sure if you're, see, I'm only at 8 inches over here. That was going to be a world of hurt for me. I need to come over here to 8.5. So double check. Erase that line. I need to be at 8.5 inches and 8.5 inches. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I will go ahead. I've got those marked. I can see my pencil line. That's always important. If you have a really busy pattern paper, you might need to make that adjustment. This is the corner that I'm cutting off. So I can see my pencil mark here and here. I'm going to feed my paper in. I feed it in from the left. It just seemed to work a little bit better. I'm going to line up the pencil mark on my cutting lines and go ahead and cut. I cut off this triangle. I'm going to set it to the side. And then I will go ahead and cut this piece, this larger, it's kind of like a diamond. I'm going to, like a gemstone diamond, not like a shaped diamond. I don't know, that's, anyway, I'm going to turn it to the side so that the short flat edge I cut off is here at the bottom. The point is up here at the top. I'm going to raise my thing up just a little bit, give myself a little bit more space. Go ahead and cut here. So that point of my paper is up here at the top. And I now have these two pieces. I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to come over here to this triangle. And I'm going to do the same thing where I take the long diagonal edge, or the long edge of the triangle, the pointed edge is up here, and cut this in half. Now I will repeat all of that with my other piece of paper. Again, I'm coming here to 8.5 inches. Take the time to line up your paper. 8.5. And I'll come down 8.5 over here on the left side. And that's going to go into my trimmer. At the diamond, the larger piece, turn that flat edge over, cut from the corner down to the middle. This triangle piece, I'm going to go ahead and cut in half. So now at this point, I am ready to start playing around with how I want them to go on my 2-page layout. So this is all about building the background. The photos just kind of, you know, how Tessa said on hers, the photos just kind of go in there however you want them to be. Once you you do have to kind of figure out how they go together. So there's a little bit of a puzzle aspect to it. And I've got these bright white pieces in here, so I do want to balance that out a little bit. I think I'm only going to use I don't think I can go. Well, I might be able to just do this. Instead of mixing all four colors, I might just mix the two. The other option is I could come in and pull out and leave and of course you can rotate things around. I think I'm just gonna for ease of the purpose here, I am just gonna go ahead and leave them just probably just like this. If I wanted to mix it up, I could probably rotate things. You'll see as you rotate your papers around that you can get different kind of looks on how they interact with each other. I could come in and do, different rotations and play with it a little bit. But I think I'm going to go ahead and just put them on the paper like such, and then I can rotate them around as I need to. I'm not going to worry about the white. I think it's just a little too contrasty. On my original piece here, I had, I think, a little bit more of a balance. I didn't have quite as much high contrast. The teal and the beige were a little bit still that mid-tone. Whereas I've got the lighter colors here. If I were to start switching these around a little bit, I'm going to have a little bit more, things that are just kind of pulling too much. So I'm going to leave them just the blues. Just the blues. All right. So now it's time to start adhering the pieces on. In your corners, I'm going to go ahead and use repositionable adhesive. I want to make sure that I'm using repositionable in more of the tight corners because they get, it just gets really into that nice tight corner area a little bit easier. Short little bits. And what I am going to do is I am going to default to using one corner edge on the blue. I know our navy cardstock is a little bit bigger than 12 inches. It's like 12 and 3/16 or something like that. It's probably not quite, it's not quite 1/8 of a bit bigger, but it seems like it's bigger than a 16th. So I am going to pick a corner and I'm going to default to that corner. So I'm picking the upper left corner and I'm putting that edge on there. Now what I'm going to do is this corner here, I will go ahead and I'm going to line up my paper and I'm going to try my best to make sure that these corners or that the lines here are flush with each other. As you can see right here, as I start to build it, I have 1/8 of an inch or so down here that I'll have to trim off. So it's going to just be better for me if I focus on getting my lines where the papers meet up with each other. I want those nice and flush to each other. If you need to, you can pre-measure your base paper just to make sure. If you think you've got that situation, that'll tell you real quick. If your paper is over 12 inches, you're going to want to make sure that you and I'm just using a mix of adhesives. So the other page would go together very much the same way. I am not going to put it together right now. Well, actually, no, I'll wait. I'll put it together later. Because it's going to basically mirror the other side, the layout. I do know I'm going to cut some mats. We walked over to Target Stadium or to Target Field from our hotel, and there's our approach. Target Field is pretty neat. It's a newer baseball stadium. I actually was able to go to, I say newer, but it's still like 10 years old, 12 years old now. I'm trying to think when I was there. I was there the first season that it opened. I'm going to just do a quick trim and cut off this extra edge. I trimmed down all of my photos to be less than 4x6. So I trimmed off. So all of my photos are 5 3/4 inch wide by 3 3/4 inch wide, or they are 3 3/4 inch square. The reason is when I cut my paper here, my mats, I can go ahead and get 6. Well, I'll cut 4x6 mats, and then I'll cut some 4x4 mats as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 4x6 mats out of cranberry. I'm using cranberry. Cut one more. This last one, I'm going to cut, I think I still need to, I'll use one more sheet. I'm going to cut 2 4x4 mats, but I think I'm still going to need one more. I can go ahead and I'll be able to put my photos on my mats. I will not arrange my photo. I'll put my photos on my page and just kind of give you guys a general idea of what they look like. I will not add them permanently to the page until I've done my second page and I have a chance to figure out how everything's going to look. I do like this paper pack, the tonal blues, this latest one. I will admit I like they use the patterns of the papers that are my favorite of the ones that they have of these totally tonals. Q2 and Q4, I really like the patterns of those papers, probably more so than the patterns that they used for Q1 and Q3, but that's just personal preference. And I'll come in here. I've got to figure out too where I'm going to put a title. I'll probably just put, put it somewhere in here that, we saw the Twins take on the Yankees. I need to make sure that I give myself some room for some journaling so that I can have all those details on there. But in general, on the other side, probably go in. Probably something like this. And then I think I'm going to have I have two horizontal pictures. I will need a peekaboo. So one of these is going to be a peekaboo pocket. There's my little selfie, and then I have a couple of photos. They had, I think, like 10 or 12, I don't know how many different home runs that were hit that night. It was insane, the number of home runs that were hit. I have to look it up. And but in general, that's kind of how it's going to go together. The goal of this, I still have some more detail work to do. Like I said, I had a whole 30 minutes budgeted to figuring out the details. And then somebody I know had to interrupt my planning time so that we could come up with some fun and games for you guys. But I will get all of that figured out. But hopefully you have a chance to mix and match your papers, put things together, and you will have a lovely background to put your photos on and so forth. So there you can kind of see how it's going to go together for my background there. So I'm excited. I will mess around with it a little bit more and just make sure that that's how I like it. Like I said, I might switch the pages or something, but we will all get it figured out so that it looks all set to go for tomorrow. I'll have a photo of it tomorrow. I probably won't get to it tonight. One, it's really dark here and it's starting to get to the point where it's hard for me to take the photos. And two, I have a baseball game to go watch. So let's see, with things coming up, we just put out tonight or this afternoon, we're going to be doing a Christmas cheer project workshop. So we're going to do 6 2-page layouts with the Christmas cheer collection, and we're going to do some cards and tags with the Christmas cheer collection as well. So if you need some extra cards to send or some pretty gift tags to use for your holiday packaging, we will have those all as part of the thing. And so Kelly's over here rooting for the Astros. So I'm going to really be sorry, Kelly, when I have to go into MailChimp and just delete you off of our mailing list. No, I'm kidding. I would never do such a thing as that. Anybody, unless you're a Dodgers fan. No, I'm kidding. So what else do we have going on? I think that's the big thing. When is
No, I'm trying to find out.
when is
What are you? What the? Can you guys see this? Oh my gosh! Flip over to me. Can you flip over to me?
what is your cat doing?
Look at him. Look at him up there. He's like gonna knock everything over.
We can't see him. You don't have us angled up high enough.
Are you sure I can see him on my screen? Oh no,
there he is.
This is like he's 60. Like, what are you doing? Like, if my mic wasn't on, I would be like cussing at him. Like, do your cats get up on?
Oh.
Does Kitty get on top of everything?
Kitty has discovered jumping. And she realizes that she can jump quite high. She just in the past 2 weeks in the past 2 weeks, she has figured out how to get on top of our kitchen counters. For the while, we got her as a kitten, so she couldn't. And then now she can. She's a Maine Coon. She's going to get big. She's going to jump wherever she wants to go. And we're not going to be able to stop that. But I am so meticulous with our kitchen counters that, yeah, that's sarcasm there. There's nothing on the cabinet. She had a feast up there waiting for her the very first time she jumped up there. Just, little leftover things. But we are much better now, of course, about putting any kind of food stuff away. And the challenge we ran into was dishes in the sink that she goes and she starts like licking the plates and everything else.
Oh, gross. I hate it.
And as much as we try to keep up on the dishes so there's no dishes in there for her to do that with, we fall behind. We're not perfect. So what I ended up doing is I bought a 20 by 30 cutting board and put it over the sink.
She can't even get in there.
She can't even get there. So now she sits on top of the cutting board and we determine it's her board. Now, obviously we're not going to use it for food. So I know somebody's commented about, trying to do like the water spray. I think we're going to have to like contemplate some things here because it's getting to the point where now I think, I have a really big island that we can no longer really utilize to prepare food because she just gets up there and she gets into everything. So we're going to have to get a spray bottle and put some water in there and just remind her who's boss in this whole
The problem
relationship.
is you have to catch her doing it, right? I mean, I think that's my
Oh,
problem.
she doesn't really get up. She doesn't get up there too much. If there's no food on the counter, she doesn't really get up there that much. But it's the second that there's food up there or that we're doing something on the counter is when she wants to find out what we're doing. So I think we'll be able to hopefully cross our fingers and get her retrained on the appropriate place for a cat to be, and it's not on the counters. But we have back to creative
Scrapbooking. We're not
scrapbooking
staying
stuff.
on topic very well tonight, are
No,
we?
we stray from topics really easily.
I've made
Um,
it out and I'm just eating my cake now. So
oh yes, yeah. Nice. Um, we have at the bottom, or excuse me, at the top, just underneath, if you can see that, you'll see it says October 2023 PH. If you would please share your layouts in our Ideas and Inspiration Facebook group, that'd be fantastic. We would love to see what you guys create. We're going to give you, we give them a week to do this one since these are pretty straightforward. You don't have to have your photos on them. Of course, we'd love to see the photos. But if you have to put them on later for privacy, or if you're pre-making some layouts, these are actually really good, just background ones to have done and pull out when you need them. So if you can post them by a week from today, so by the 24th, and then sometime after the 24th, Tessa will do all the hard work of pulling the name and announcing the winner. And then we are going to have, like I said, we're going to have Christmas cheer
it's a
project
daytime
workshop.
class. Did you say that?
It is a daytime class, but it's recorded. So if you can't attend the daytime with us, you'll be able to watch the recording later. Tessa had like 5 million sporting events, so it's really hard to book her on an evening. So we're doing a daytime event, and then the other power hour is going to be the 14th, right?
Yeah, Power November 14th. And then we will
No,
have Winter Frolic.
yeah, November 14th is going to be the next power hour. It will be evening, just like they normally are. And then probably by our November power hour, we will have Winter Frolic up and ready for registration. That is our 6-week course, or 8-week. Our 8-week, just kind of bash your stash, keep going during the winter. It starts right after the first of the year. It's a lot of fun. They're meant to be just keep on grooving through your projects. We give you layout ideas every week to keep going. So let's see, I saw a question there. Christmas cheer is going to be on November 16th. Registration is now open for that. It's on our website at megganandtessa.com. And then the other big date was going to be is Power Hour, which will be on November 14th. So just a couple days before Christmas cheer. So I think that's all we have. We are going to have one more beginner class, at least. We'll have probably the first Tuesday of November. I've got to clear that with Tessa. She's our schedule dictator. I mean, I have to like book her in advance, right? Trying to her kids keep her so busy.
Yeah, it is not. My calendar is not pretty. The next 3 years are going to be insane.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it goes. I'll have a little bit of a lull here until I think Cody picks up doing more. Well, springtime's always hard for me because that's when we do baseball and lacrosse at the same time, and that's fun. So, all right, I think that's all we have for you tonight. Oh well, really quick because we're here, and I saw the question at the very beginning of the chat, and I'm going to bring Tessa up here. Let me get her on this spotlight. If you're on a mobile device, you won't be able to see both of us, but we can watch her stuff her face with the with cake.
It's actually pretty good. I didn't think I
Good.
wanted confetti cake. I won't lie, it's actually really tasty. It's just from Walmart because that was between me and school when I picked up Campbell, but it's
Is
pretty
it a
good.
buttercream? Is it a non-dairy whip?
It's a buttercream.
Okay. That's
I
usually
don't know. Do they really use real butter at Walmart?
well, okay. Is it
I
a
mean,
Crisco? Is it a Crisco cream, frosting? It's basically I'm not a fan of non-dairy whip. I'm just gonna admit it's not my favorite. If I'm here for the frosting and it better taste good. So somebody asked us earlier, you made a comment about that you thought you could do the make and take better than Creative Memories. So let's hear that story. This is we have to always have rehash. How did Power Hour start?
so I think it's interesting too. Those of you that have been in it for 3 years, I think I've had at least a couple of people this week mention COVID, and I think that I don't know. It's funny how karma and the universe works, right? So Megan and I had met each other online in like basically January of 2019, right? No, 2020,
Yeah, January
January
2020.
2020. We both had joined Creative Life Scrapbooking together. I was already doing this full time, doing resale, selling the products, and we started doing that together. And then we became pretty close friends in Messenger. Megan and I think pretty similarly. You might think we're the nicest, loveliest people ever. We're actually both a little bit cynical and sarcastic. And we were able to bounce that off each other because when you have a good friend like that, then it helps you filter it to the public. And so for the most part, we say, well, you guys don't get to hear all the inner monologue of what we really think about everything. I'm just kidding. We actually say mostly what we think. So we were becoming pretty good friends. And so then COVID hit, right? Which, rocked the world for everyone. And I know a lot of you watched us during COVID, that a lot of people were started doing virtual during COVID. COVID introduced Zoom to the world, and not to offend any of you, but obviously those of us that get later in the generations are a little bit more reluctant to maybe pick up on new technology, right? I already feel it in some of my own life. I'm like, the kids are like, Mom, I'm like, but what's wrong? What's wrong with what I have? Anyway, so Zoom had come along. And then that fall, Megan she first did Zoom by herself. She did your Croptoberfest workshop, right?
I
Like
think
your
so.
whole month.
Yeah, I did. I think I was experimenting a little bit with Zoom.
Yeah, Megan and I started doing Zoom. I was like, I don't have time to figure this out. You figure it out because I don't have time for that. And then Creative Memories did a make and take in October. And it was like sign up and they had a specific project. And I think that they do their first in October. Their first was probably September.
It was October.
It was October. And so I don't know, whatever are you sure? Because I was thinking that we had seen them do it once before we decided. So basically I was like, you know what?
Maybe it was September. We decided to do it then for October because they announced also an October one.
Yeah, so I was like, I was just kind of joking, like we should do our own because we could do it better. And the laughable thing about that is like, who are we? I haven't even been on Zoom. She's new to Zoom. People that knew me only knew me from like selling product to them. It wasn't like we were doing a lot of layouts. We were doing Creative Life a little bit at this point, and so it was a joke. And we just like, well, let's do Wicked Cute. Do you guys remember we were the Wicked Cute set and it had the washi tape and the papers and the stickers? And so we both used that set. And I think we had like 180 people sign up. I mean, we were so proud of ourselves of like, hey, we got some people to attend. That's a lot of people to sign up. And it's like, well, we should do it again. And so then we did November, which was genuine and thankful theme kit.
Yes.
And even more of you signed up and were like, what? Like, we really can do this better. I think that might have been when Creative members stopped doing theirs. Maybe they
They
saw what was
didn't do one
coming.
for December. And I see somebody commented that they had their first Power Hour handout was in December. And the reason is because after doing October, where we called it like wickedly cute, and then in November we called it be thankful. And we're like, we can't be naming these things like this all the time. We need something more generic so that it was we had more flexibility in what we were going to create for you. And so we ended up calling it Power Hour. And those even, I wish we may even have the text chain about trying to name these things that we come up with. Like, how do we name these things? And so we decided, and we were so bold. I know the first one, we scheduled it even the same night the Creative Memories had there. And part of it was that Tess and I both we wanted to direct our customers to us. Like, come see us put things together. And then a bunch of other people joined in too. So that was really where it came from, is we just thought, well, if Creative Memories can teach us, so can we. And, so that's really where we started having fun. And, just we kept getting, and a lot. Remember, we had two shows, two shows. We had a 4 o'clock East, no, 4 o'clock Pacific, and then a 7 o'clock Pacific, right? Was it 4 and 10 or 7 and 10 for you?
Yeah, 7 and 10. So I got late, but we're always said, watch the second one because that's when we do it better. Because the first one's when we figured out all the errors and we mess up. And
Well, the downside to two shows is, I mean, I know a lot of you guys like those the two show or the two versions of it. It was nice to be able to catch two live things. Is it really just turned into kind of a big thing for us? And we were the ability to be able to have two sets of photos to show you guys and to put everything together. It really got kind of a little overwhelming. And then as we went into that summer, I think a summer of 21, we're like, we can't do two. There's no way. We're going to be lucky to be
Yeah.
able to pull off one with our schedules. So we
Yeah, it
switched
was
over to just
summer.
one and realized that was probably the better option that worked best for us. So, and then we've been tweaking things over the years or over the years. We've been tweaking things and we have another tweak that we're going to do. We're going to change how we do registration. Hopefully make that a little bit more streamlined. Many of you just automatically get these emails. You're on our subscriber list. Thank you so much. You'll want to stay on that subscriber list. If you find us in your spam box, if you find us in your promotions box, drag our newsletters over to your inbox. You'll tell your email provider that you want to see them. You can also make sure you open them, right? Open them, just quickly read them. And that also lets your provider know that you like our content and you want to keep seeing it in your inbox.
It was a few. At first, we were just doing Gmail, but the problem was, it's like when you start sending more and more, then Gmail is flagging as spam. It's like, I got to go to
Oh,
Mailchimp.
well, we had to get a website. Somebody really wanted a website, and somebody really had all these high expectations out of a website, and somebody has a really cheap person to put the website together, and that's why it's not super sophisticated.
I
The
am great at
person
thinking of lots of ideas, and then was like, Megan, can you figure this out? But now Megan's just as busy as me. I can't do that anymore. I have to figure out my own stuff because she has her own load of work to do. But and we were putting them on YouTube right away, right? I mean, how were we sending
No,
out the
it took us a
recording?
while. It took us a while to get them onto YouTube. Part of that is that we used to do a lot more screen share or grabbing people's faces and having them show their layouts. And as much as we love to see what you guys create and share that type of stuff, that we felt made it a little bit more a privacy issue that you didn't necessarily want to end up on a public YouTube video. So by doing it the way we do now, where we just have you guys share later in the Facebook group, it allows us to keep the video itself just mostly Tessa and I on screen so that we
And the
can.
cats.
And the cats are going to be YouTube stars. There's, you guys all have to know, there's totally like cat Instagram and cat TikTok.
I can see Diane has her cat in the screen too. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's more than one cat making an appearance on the scrap table.
the
Well, a good
door's
question would
closed.
be, what should we do next?
What?
But we didn't do as many classes this year because
Yeah.
they were selling out of stuff so fast. It's hard to schedule class, and then there's products
They
gone in 1 week,
they were
2 weeks.
selling out, and then I think there was just some other things. It's yeah, the selling out. Oh well, and the other thing too is they changed how they did Croptoberfest and National Scrapbook Day. So now that we are doing, instead of having specific page maker classes for those items, they have the project booklet for us. So we've just been doing the free classes for those, basically how to put them together. And so I think that worked out well. Fall was a little bit different this year because of the way they did Autumn Harvest. It was not a full collection. It had just a single paper pack with the vellum. Really, for us, one of the things we look for is a paper pack that had, or a collection that has two paper packs. It just makes it a little bit easier for us to, show you how to use both paper packs. So for Christmas cheer, we're going to have you guys work in some cardstock with the two paper packs, since that second paper pack is not a full pack. It's just 6 sheets of the plaid. So we'll be working with all that fun. So should be good. And then we'll have to see what comes up next year with the collections, because the year before we did our moments, but we didn't have anything that was similar to that this past year, did we?
I think the last real pacemakers was Serenity.
No, we did Painted Harvest or Painted Garden.
Oh, Serenity and then Painted Garden.
So yeah, so we did Serenity and we did Painted Garden, and then I think really in that regard, the only one that we didn't do is we didn't have NSD was not a true page makers, and nor was the fall class. And then we did not have an autumn class, but you had soccer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have more of that. Someone's asking about the cardstock. We haven't made the layouts yet, so we don't know what cardstock we're gonna use. We put colors in the class description of colors we would suggest that we will use. And so honestly, they're pretty basic colors. So I would just keep those in your stash. It's like the red and the green and the navy, and just buy a pack and have it, because those are ones that you could always use. We would love to tell you exactly how many sheets of what color, but that would require Meggan and I to both be organized enough to have already done these layouts before we plan a class, and that never happens. We're lucky to get our layouts done in time to send out the handouts for the class. So
I have to do the layouts I have to do mine first, and I can tell Tessa what's left over.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's not a lot of statement print in them, which I don't love. I think that the colors and the plaids will all come together very cohesively. I think it'll be easy, fairly easier, hopefully, to pull these together. I don't know. Meggan actually hasn't given me too much of her opinion. I know she doesn't love how much plaid it has.
There's a lot of plaid. It'll be fun to
There's
use, though. I am looking forward to
fun.
creating with it. I would say anybody who's on here that would love to or is thinking about attending is maybe consider having either, like, if you were able to get some of the gold shimmer or some platinum shimmer or some
I think the white
bronze
shimmer would
shimmer,
be
the
pretty
white
too.
shimmer, but just having a little bit of, I mean, it's Christmas, right? So you want to maybe a little bit of that sparkle to come in there, depending on even Starry Night shimmer might work in well for picking out some of the blues. So think about having some shimmer paper. You may see that in there. We will try to give as much feedback as we can prior to the class. I am hoping personally to dive into some of this stuff so that I can get it done. I can at least have I know the direction I'm going, because I start to have like heart palpitations if I don't have that. I'll like lay wake at night thinking about it. Yes, I do. I think about that kind of stuff. I think that I don't know what I'm doing. It's going to be a failure if I don't have a plan.
I don't think like that. And I've told Meggan more than once that this is a problem in her mind, because she's never going to be a failure, and it always works out and always looks good. So we all have our issues. Meggan is over analyzing everything in her life, and my job is to tell her it's fine, because it will be fine.
I need to channel my inner Tessa. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
I'm just like, bop, bop, bop. I don't sleep very well at night because I stay up too late binge watching shows. Like, you know what my new show is? Meggan doesn't watch TV, so I have to tell all of you guys, 'cause I'm sure someone out here has watched it. I recently discovered Virgin River on Netflix. Did any of you watch Virgin River? Oh my gosh, I'm like, where's my Jack? I want to find my Jack and move to Colorado and find my cabin. I love it. I've been staying up till like 2 o'clock, and I have so much work I should be doing watching that show on this screen. So my computer right here, I just played on there where I'm like cleaning up my room and organizing. So I haven't been going as fast, but I am just starting season 4. Why did no one tell me about this? I don't understand. I've been missing him like for years now.
I watch some shows. When I can't walk outdoors, I have a spin bike in my garage, and I tell myself I can pick a show to stream. It will not be Virgin River. I need to do the last season of Miss Maisel. I need to watch that one, and then it'll probably be some other. I'm more of like last year, I think I watched The Expanse. It's a sci-fi thing off, I think it was on Amazon. It's actually very, very good if you like that genre. That kind of stuff. But I tell myself I have to do it while I'm on my spin bike.
Yeah. I've watched whatever you just said. What did you
Miss Maisel, tits up. Yeah. Am I supposed to say that? Oops.
When I haven't watched the most recent season or 2.
No, I haven't either. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
it's the final one.
After I'm done with Virgin River. I can't let go of Jack yet. So
who I don't even know who this character is.
Well, he's my age too, which is probably partly why. I mean, he's in real life he's 48, and I'm 45. We're 45 now. Meggan just had her birthday too, but my kids want me to move to Colorado anyway, so I think it would be perfect. I just have to figure out what small town out there. Those of you in Colorado can let me know what small town do I have the best chance of meeting Jack in. You guys let me know by the Christmas workshop and start planning my life. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Heartland. Yeah, that would be a good thing. When
they're saying the Virgin River is in California. Are you sure it's set in Colorado?
No, it's not. But my kids are all moving to Colorado. Oh. And so I figured that would be like, it would be in a similar scene. Like it would have mountains, and I could find the cabin guy.
There's lots of places you can find a cabin guy in the mountain.
I know. I have to find my Jack, but it needs to be in Colorado because that's where my kids are going to be. So we'll see. I don't know. Real life. Anyway, we should probably let Meggan go watch her baseball game.
Eat dinner.
and eat dinner. And I did go with charcoal, so I will probably turn on Virgin River right here. I'm gonna replace all of you on this screen with Virgin River and finish my layout. And then tomorrow I'll take pictures and post it. But anyways, this has been fun. Thanks for letting us talk to you and eat cake in front of you and have a good time. So
Awesome. All right, everybody, enjoy your evening, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys on Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning in.
see ya.